I'd like to welcome the king of the West Coast, Snoop Dogg, onto the stage. And right behind him, and I'd also love to welcome Ted Chung, his business partner and manager, lifetime business partner and manager.
Yes, sir. All right, check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. What's happening, y'all? How y'all doing today?
So, Snoop, the theme of today is beautiful cannabis. The theme of this conversation is beautiful cannabis. But before we get into cannabis specifically, you had a global hit song around the theme beautiful, right? And you filmed this in the favelas of Brazil, place dear to me. I'm from Venezuela originally, so I know how the culture and the life is like in third world countries. Maybe you can share a little bit of insight of kind of what that song was like and kind of sharing it globally.
Well, the actual song was produced by Pharrell. And me and him was talking about how I could tap into my feminine side because I hadn't really made songs for women. I had more or less didn't really know how to. So he was expressing to me that I needed to. So when he produced this particular record, Beautiful, it was the perfect record. And then we started looking at locations as far as where would we want to do the video at. And Brazil had never been, nobody never shot there before. It was like a third world country that people were sort of kind of scared of. So I was like, it's a beautiful country. Let's go there and just look at it. And once we went there, we shot there. Tourism went up about 60% after we shot the video. And it became like, the fun spot to be at. It was just all based on love. The song Beautiful was about love. The video was about love and us going to Brazil to shoot the video in a country that deserved love. So it was just a love thing. And that's all we was about. So when we did it, that's what we did it for.
Right on, man. So you've sold hundreds of millions of songs around the world. You've been traveling internationally kind of nonstop. What insight can you kind of give us as kind of cannabis global kind of presence and global stage and how it kind of connects us all? What common themes do you kind of see everywhere you go?
The common theme that I've seen is that cannabis connects people of all walks. Never have I had a bad conversation while smoking some chronic with somebody. Or never have I had an argument, or never have we had a disagreement. We always would find ways to agree to disagree. So this was like the perfect piece to bringing people together that didn't look alike, that didn't grow up the same, but we enjoyed the same, flower in life. And to me, it's the peace thing. It's a peace offering, and that's why I stand by it. That's why I support it, because it brings so many beautiful people like the people that's here today. And that's what I love being a part of.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Is there any particular city or any particular story that kind of stands up in your memory worth kind of sharing?
Man, I got plenty of stories. What kind you want? Make sure ain't no kids in here. You want PG-13?
Well, right on. Maybe moving on to the next one, talking about maybe for you, Ted. You've helped kind of build this iconic kind of global brand, and how it's the connection between kind of building a cannabis brand versus building a kind of human brand.
Well, I think that Snoop's success in entertainment and the things that we deal with, and as this market is maturing and our industry is, all the real issues like distribution, retail, the way to monitor that is like what Snoop and I have seen even in Canada. Has been a really important part that we should all think about, because once all that becomes adequate and mature, there's a whole different ball game around brands that needs to be played.
Right on. So now bringing it back a little bit to California, right? This is your hometown. This is where you were born. This is where you've built a lot of kind of what you've taken globally. Tell us a little bit about kind of the story, how you kind of first came to the scene with cannabis. I know there's a moment where there was a chronic leaf on a hat, and then it got blurred by MTV. There's some of the backstory there, kind of the first time it came present.
Yeah, not to mention all the times I went to jail for this shit, too.
Yeah.
Please don't forget to mention that.
Yeah.
I just was like a supporter of it as a youngster, because it was a cool way of feeling good. I didn't really like alcohol too much. I didn't really want to experiment with other things. So, cannabis was the choice for me. And when I was making my music, it was making my music more mellow and making me more mellow. So I wanted to represent it by putting the leaf on my hat to represent it. And, not even knowing, not even thinking about branding, just trying to put something out there that had never been seen. And then eventually it became a brand. So just looking at the industry for what it is and what it's not, it's all brandable now. Everything now is understood to be business now. And it's a tech side to it. It's an agricultural side to it. It's a health side to it. It's all types of sides to it that everyone can be involved with now. You don't have to be ashamed or be afraid. A lot of people used to be afraid to get in the industry. Well, I don't want to be associated with cannabis. Well, it's a business now, so there's nothing wrong with being associated with it, even if you don't do it.
Right. Right on. So you smoke probably a lot of cannabis in many different countries.
I was just smoking before I came up here.
Yeah, and I joined him, which was a little bit bad idea because I'm not that experienced on stage.
You did good, Mike. Mikey, you did good, Mikey. You did good.
Thanks, brother. Tell me, where's the most beautiful cannabis you've ever smoked?
Bay Area.
Right on.
And that's hands down. I've been around the whole world. I've been to Thailand. I've been to countries that I don't even know how to pronounce. But the Bay Area has always been the best, from Humboldt County to San Francisco to Oakland, now to Mendocino County. I mean, it's the best, and I can't deny it. I'm not being biased because I'm from California. I'm just being truthful to my heart, my mind, and my spirit when I indulge. And California's the #1 spot.
Right on. So this question is maybe for kind of both of you guys. I know you guys have been in Canada, Netflix documentary, The Grass is Greener, and you've always been preaching about the importance of biodiversity and social justice, social equity. Can you talk about kind of the main issues today around making sure that cannabis kind of does right on some of these wrongs?
I mean, the first way they can do right is like decriminalize it. Like a lot of the guys thank you.
Yeah.
Because it's not fair that, a lot of people that's incarcerated were making money off of it and doing a great job of it, being Fortune 500 businessmen. Then you lock them up, and now you're giving license to people who are doing the exact same thing that they were doing. So if you're going to be right, be all the way right.
Right on. So, Ted, what are your thoughts on kind of how can we resolve some of these issues maybe proactively before they become even worse?
Well, I think that, what Snoop is saying is critically important, and per his mandate, all the companies that we have in the cannabis space, they're 75% and over culturally diverse in the C-level suite and senior execs, and 50% and over when it comes to gender ratio between male to female.
Right on. So, also for both of you guys, the brand that you created, Leafs by Snoop, was probably one of the first brands to be available both in Canada and also in the U.S. Can you talk a little bit about, what that felt to you to get that accomplishment and what that means for kind of culture and kind of the transformation we're going through in general?
Well, first I wanted to make sure I did it right. I just didn't want to jump in because everybody else was doing it. So what me and Ted did was found the best team, and we found the best people out of Colorado to actually develop the product and to put it to a test, because Colorado was the first place to actually get it all the way right. They got it all the way right with the laws and the way that they did it, and even the whole process of creating it. So we wanted to go out there and do it, and once we did, we knew that I smoked weed by the pounds, and the pound symbol is LBS. So I was thinking to myself, Leafs by Snoop. There it is there.
Ted, maybe you on kind of that perspective on kind of Canada. They obviously kind of beat us first at the capital markets. They've got a kind of a head start in the U.S. What do you think about kind of the brand out there versus here and kind of the future of Canada?
I mean, Snoop and I were just there out of many trips to Canada together, and I think what's really interesting for all of us is and I know this contingency certainly is inspired, excited both economically and philosophically by the elections next year and what we should be able to achieve together. But however we can educate and help each other on that, because the federally regulated Canadian market allows for us to really jump past a lot of pitfalls and loopholes, especially when it comes to financing and public markets.
Yeah, for sure. And then is there something that maybe the U.S. could kind of learn from what's happened in Canada? Or we could do maybe different, or?
They need to involve the farmers, man. Because if you're gonna do it right, do it with the people that grow it the best, that have been around this, and this is their life and this is their livelihood, as opposed to just trying to find specialists and people to put into position that's not really doing a great job of it. Give it back to the farmers. That's what I say.
Right on. So you've been involved, obviously, in the entertainment industry for a long time, been in cannabis, social initiative. What do you see as being kind of the most beautiful aspect of kind of your career and your legacy and kind of what you leave behind? Or you continue to create?
I mean, I love the fact that I used to be a bad guy known for smoking weed. Like, you used to read about me, you know, he's going to jail again. Hey, they got him again. Now it's like it's all love and it's all peace and it's all with understanding. And it's like, I love the fact that you can be on the wrong side and get on the right side, and you can be forgiven and you can fix yourself and you can get things right. And I just feel like that's what the world needs now, more understanding on how we can be better. And by me having cannabis in my life, it helped me to be a better person and a better individual. So I'd advise you do the same.
Yeah. So, you know, in terms of some of the themes of today, you know, we've talked about, you know, cannabis as a catalyst for change in certain areas around agriculture, medicine and science, you know, biodiversity, social justice, and even flow and consciousness. There's going to be so much change that this, you know, industry movement can bring to mankind. Is there a certain change that you're excited to see maybe in the world, the way we treat each other, the way we react to each other? What are you excited to see about cannabis?
I'm excited to see how we treat each other, man, because like I always say, like, I know I'm a hippie, you know, because I was born in the 70s, so that's just the spirit that I have. It's like, and as a kid watching hippies, like, they were always fun and happy and, like, for real, like, and I like that spirit. Like, I don't like I'm mad at you and I'm frustrated and we're arguing. I like to be able to understand each other and have fun. You only die once. You should live every day.
Right on. So, Ted, you know, you as kind of managing a lot of kind of the business operations side of things, you know, here in this room we've got you know, legislators, policymakers, you know, distributors, brands, operators of all kinds, even investors too. Is there something that we can kind of, I don't know, leave this audience with in terms of what we could do to build an industry that kind of we can be part of?
I would just say that, you know that you have kindred spirits that you can always reach out to on this side of the fence to help amplify the message that is good for, you know, us as a society and the industry, right? So if there's anyone out there tonight, you know, whether it's myself or other members of the team, especially on the legislation side, you know, please reach out and let us know what are the things that can be done to help advance the conversation and the final determination forward.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a kind of challenge we're all facing here in California. You know, kind of the crown jewel of the U.S. and of the world, really, we're the epicenter of cannabis. You know, we are struggling with regulations. It's been very cumbersome, very costly, very challenging. Very few dispensaries. It's turned out to be very, very hard for a lot of these operators and cool legacy brands to stick around if they haven't raised capital or embraced kind of capital. There's going to be, you know, a phase now that regulation has kind of forced a lot of them out of the market. Any advice for them to kind of, you know, prevail, work hard, stay focused?
Man, yeah, definitely stay focused. I mean,
I ain't got no answer for that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm like, wow, you said some tough stuff right there. That was tough. I'm trying to find an answer. I can't find it.
I mean, this thing, I'm sure everyone in here knows, like, this has been, for us in the past, call it 8 years, a race that's been moving at like 1,000 miles an hour with 10 different consecutive marathons that your brain has to think about running. And that makes it exciting. I think it's really important to keep your eye on the prize, which is, you know, look at what the energy of this place is and where everyone in this room comes from, and to make sure that we are able to impart that upon this industry. What is ironic is that this lag in time is giving us an arbitrage and an ability to participate, right? Because if it had moved really fast, then we know who the others are that would have jumped in with a lot of capital behind their back and blocked us all out. So it's the irony of the fact is that it's challenging, but it is giving us, even when we look at other federally regulated territories, a window to find our areas of ownership, and that's important.
Right on. Cool.
Yeah, what he said.
No, what he says.
So maybe just kind of wrapping up now, I'd love to just kind of see the farmers kind of raise their hands. Where are they at?
Shout out to all the farmers in the house. What up, dog? Keeping that good produce out there. You know what I'm talking about?
Right on. Well, I've had a blast. It's been great to get to know you, Ted, over the last few months and working together. Snoop, you're a legendary icon. Any words of
Mikey
wisdom
likes
kind
it.
of parting out?
I mean, I think we should have more of these. This is a great powwow right here. Like, this is what the world needs to see more of. People just coming together, you know, trying to figure it out and working together, man. This is beautiful. I love what I see. I hope you guys have a blessed day. It's been a pleasure being in front of you guys. Much success and nothing less.